what are we talking about? We're talking about astral projection, sleep paralysis. You go to bed at night, you're sleeping, you're vulnerable, and all of a sudden Satan says, hey, I'm going in for the kill on this one. We're going to uncover this and find out what in the world is going on. You know, the medicine, modern day technology, they have terms for it, you know, sleep apnea, all kinds of different. So no, we're going to talk spiritually because I want to know what is going on spiritually. My guest, Miss Vanessa. Vanessa, are you there with me?
I'm here.
All right. Now, Vanessa, you have been a victim. You've experienced sleep paralysis, but you didn't experience it until after you became a Christian, okay? Now, before we get into that, I want to go before you were a Christian. What was your connection with dreams and demons before you became a Christian?
Yeah, so, well, first of all, I just want to preface by saying that you're obviously doing something right because every time I come on your show, there's intense warfare, and that's exactly what we're talking about.
It happens to everybody. You know,
Yeah.
I almost all my guests call me and go, David, I've been like thrown against the wall by a demon. What's going on here? But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, so before I came to the Lord, I had years of absolute demonic invasion in my sleep to the point where I would even call up my grandmother, the person I'm very close to, and talk to her about these things. I know she has had some spiritual experiences in her life, and she kind of chalked it up to the environment I was living in. There was a lot of drugs around and whatnot and drinking. But I would go to sleep and it never failed. Every single night, it's like I would go to this place of hell. Uh, I actually was afraid to fall asleep. I would wake up in cold sweats. I'd fall off the bed. Every single night for years. It was tormenting. It was absolute torture, and fear gripped me. And that happened for a long time. When I moved out of that place, it subsided a little bit, but it still came and went in waves. But it wasn't until I actually got saved, until I came to the Lord. And
Okay, let's put a pause on that. I want to talk about what you just spoke about. Now, before you became a Christian, demons attacked you in your sleep and took you into hell. Now, were you asleep and then you dreamed you went into hell? Were you still awake? And tell me what does that mean exactly? They drug you into hell.
I was asleep, but I do believe that my spirit was taken into some other place. I do believe I was in a different realm, although
Okay.
I was sleeping.
Okay. I believe, just not mentioned to you off the air, but I believe you were a victim of astral projection. You don't have to do it yourself, astral project. You can have someone pull you out of your body, Vanessa.
Hmm.
And what you're describing to me is astral projection, where you're actually getting pulled out and taken somewhere. Now, I know, I'm whipping this on you all at once and you're going, oh, but it sounds to me that you went to sleep, okay? You're in a state of maybe unconsciousness, but your spirit, more than just your mind, your spirit got taken somewhere, just like you said, your spirit.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because, God says in the last days, he's going to pour out his Holy Spirit in Acts 2:17 and Joel 2:28. He's going to pour out his spirit in all flesh. So dreams actually come as a gift from the Father of lights. And that's why Satan likes to come in as an angel of light and twist that, thwart that. And that's exactly what he does because God is matchless and he tries to be just like him, but he can't.
Exactly. So you felt like your spirit was being dragged into hell. And the reason I keep going back to this, I have a lot of people out there listening going, have experienced the same thing. So I want to touch on it one more time. The reason you thought your spirit was being dragged into a dark place, other than just dreaming it or your mind, what's the difference? Why the spirit? Why not just a bad dream or your mind?
Because that's a place where we're vulnerable. We are, we're exhausted. We are in a place of, I guess, a place where it's easier, I guess, for Satan to come in and take our spirits, our souls captive. And for, those out there who are listening, who are Christian and, don't believe this stuff or think, oh, how could that happen if you're a Christian? I would question the opposite. If you're not experiencing any kind of warfare, then maybe they're doing something wrong in your walk. The fact that
Yeah.
I experienced this is because I was really walking with the Lord in a mighty way, and Satan
Yeah.
came in and just totally invaded that.
So, okay, now let's go to you became a Christian and tell me what changed. The attack certainly didn't change. Well, the method of attacks changed. What happened?
Right. Well, I think, first of all, it was the awareness. Before I became a Christian, I was unaware of what was happening. I knew that there was something dark out there. It did definitely open up my eyes to the demonic realm. I knew that there was something beyond this world. So I was definitely a believer in something beyond the natural. But what changed when I came to the Lord was that I became aware of what was going on. I knew the warfare, and also that these entities made themselves known to me. They can kind of cause confusion in many areas of your life, but at this point they made themselves known, and they let me know who they were and who they worked for, and they were in my face, and the presence, I guess, was manifested to where I was paralyzed, as sleep paralysis is exactly that.
Yeah, okay. So now we're talking sleep paralysis. Okay. So now you move from being attacked by Satan, by demons, and your spirit drug into a very dark place. You become a Christian. Now you're at a place where it's sleep paralysis. They know they can't drag you into a dark place anymore because now you're a child of God.
Right.
So now it's a different method. Tell me what the sleep paralysis for you, what did that mean? What did it feel like? What happened?
So, in contrast to the dreams, I was fully awake, fully aware, and I was actually awoken. And the first time I experienced this was the night of my 30th birthday. I had prayed the biggest prayer I'd ever prayed for my life, covering everyone I knew in prayer. And I knew the Lord was about to start my ministry, and that God was blessing me. And so Satan loves to come and thwart whatever God's about to do in your life, especially with blessings. I was 29. About 2 o'clock in the morning, I was awoken by I was awoken by fear. I was awoken by this fear that penetrated all the way to my very soul. I can't even explain the fear. It was a deathly fear. If it's like tasting death. It really was like tasting death. And basically, my body was unable to move. I was completely paralyzed. I couldn't speak, and the fear was so intense that I couldn't even. It was hard for me to even think. So in my mind, I was trying to yell out the name Jesus until I was able to finally yell it out into the atmosphere. And the moment I did that, the spirit fled, and that happened probably maybe 5-6 times. And it always happened, I have to say, at a time where God was doing like a major work in my life, whether he was delivering me from an eating disorder, which I mentioned on your channel before, and anything in my life that he was delivering me from, or that he was going to bless me with as I was being raised up as a worship leader or what have you. That's when the attacks came. And this supernatural fatigue would come over me during the day. So I'd be awoken at night, but then during the day, and you know this about me, David, I can stay up all hours of the night. I'm constantly thinking, I'm creating, yeah. I'm doing all these things. And I just have the supernatural energy. Well, this was like a supernatural fatigue that would come over me during these seasons with the sleep paralysis. I'm sorry. And yeah. I would just be completely knocked out. But
by the way, Vanessa, the medical field now, the terminology they describe this as narcolepsy. Okay, where you stay awake all night because insomnia, you sleep during the day, and they even talk about sleep paralysis. And when we come back, we're going to talk about hallucinations. But you see, the medical term puts a very physical label on these things. You and I are talking spiritually. Don't you agree, before we take a break, don't you agree that sleep paralysis, hallucinations, what they term is narcolepsy, don't you agree that this is really a spiritual issue, spiritual attack?
100%. And I thank you for giving me a chapter, to write about this in your book, because I think it's very important. People on other sides of the world, around the world, all say the same thing, that they chalk it up to a witch or a demon or some sort of entity that's crawling on their chest.
Right.
But the predominantly atheistic countries will chalk it up to just a medical brain glitch or something, so it's 100% demonic. Anyone who disagrees with that, they have not experienced it.
Absolutely. And when we come back, we're going to be diving deeper into dreams. How does Satan do it? Is it happening to you? Okay, what are the symptoms? What do you need to watch out for? We're going to be talking about what you can do about it. The antidote, all right? We're talking about astral projection. It's the new series that's on davidheavener.tv. It's exclusive. Go there, watch it. There's a practice, an ancient practice, where one's spirit leaves their body. It's called astral projection. Okay, so dreams. Could this be a form of astral projection?
I can tell you that practitioners on the other side and ex-Satanists will tell you what I'm going to say.
Okay.
We target your dreams.
A woman woke up. She felt the presence of something in the doorway that was trying to pull her out of her flesh. And what she did was call out to the name of Jesus, and bang, that attack stopped. She went back into her body. She woke up.
The New Agers call it the astral plane, sort of like a parallel dimension.
A lot of times people will experience things like sleep paralysis.
It's real but lethal, real but counterfeit, real but completely in error.
There's a risk of insanity.
God is totally against it. If the church was doing its job, would New Age and astral projection be so prevalent amongst Christians?